Hi, this is John Lowe, aka Frags with the DNB Academy, and welcome to another sound recreation video. And for this one, I got a brand new track from the Prototypes. It's called First Sun, and it has an awesome bass line, and that's exactly what we're gonna be recreating. So first things first, let's take a listen to the original, all right? Awesome. So now let's take a listen of what we've done with it. I'm gonna play you the bass line we recreated on top of it. Alright, there we go. Obviously the sort of like syncopation of the bass sound itself is a bit different from the original because there's no sidechain. And if you look at it, that's why this pattern comes from. It's pretty much from the sidechain kicks that gets the pattern as it is. So alright, let's dive right into Serum so I can show you what I've done with it. This is a type of sound that's going to be based a lot around fundamental wavetables. And we got to do a little trick to achieve the sound that the Prototypes did here. So first things first, let's go into our basic shapes here. And we got to select the sine wave. We're going to turn the random phase all the way down, all right? And we're going to go into the wavetable editor. This is a really important part because for this first oscillator, we're going to need this to be like somewhere around like 75 on the first bin. And we're going to add the second bin at around 50, all right? So this should leave us with something like this, right? And now we're going to turn one octave lower and increase the level here. Right, so now we're getting like a way more, I would say a fatter low end. Like we could go one lower, but we don't want that. So we're gonna keep it like this. Now we're gonna activate the second, or the oscillator B, and we also gonna select, we're gonna select the basic shapes, and we're gonna go into the wavetable editor again, but this time we're gonna select both of these bins, actually bin 2 and 4, which are in between the ones we selected prior. So we're gonna add them here. And now we should play it back to see if it's kind of going there, because there's like one specific harmonic that we really need for this bass to work. You see, like, like this would be kind of up to you, but I would say that to match the original, something like this is good. Okay, and now we forgot to take off or turn off the random phases as well, and then here we need to kind of tune our second oscillator, and we need to put in +7 semitones here so we could get fifth. We can actually achieve the sound that is super characteristic to the one we're recreating at this moment. All right, so now that we got this, we need to make things move a bit. All right, and this sound is kind of based around the sort of LFO that we're gonna assign to one of these oscillators instead of like both of them. So we're gonna assign this trigger, all right, this LFO, to the level of oscillator B. So we only got to be moving, and we're gonna be giving it a lot of groove just to the second and the third sort of harmonic. I mean, in the second and the fourth harmonic, and not the overall kind of main sine wave. So, see what I mean? And to match the original, kind of gonna go on like 8 notes dotted. That's kind of where it goes, you know. And now let's add a bit of like a small detail here to our second oscillator, which is gonna be the warping mode. We're gonna select the band plus a negative, so we're gonna just fatten it up a little bit more instead of having that squeegee-ish kind of sound. If we bend it a bit, see what I mean? Especially if you put it around here. Now, usually I wouldn't do this on my sounds, but listening to the original, it feels like one of these sine waves, it's not just one voice, all right? So I feel like there's something like this going on. No? Where this just gives a bit more width to the overall sound that we're gonna add a bit more later with our processing. But for now, I think we should keep it like this, even with a random phase on or off. Something like this, right? Just to wrap up the patch in this part here, we need to turn on our filter and choose the low pass 6. It's more than enough. And also assign our LFO there. Make it polar mode. And that's the spot where like we want to make sure we don't go too over these harmonics, but we also want to cut them a bit. So it's kind of like finding the sweet spot. Right, cool. So I'm pretty sure that within the patch itself, that's not much we can do. Let's flip into the effects section and go over some details. You know the drill. We're probably gonna start with some distortion, all right? And we're gonna go with some tube because we kind of wanna add some warmth to the sound, but not like distort it a lot, like here, you know? We wanna go somewhere around 55, 56, should be good. Now let's add a bit of chorus, low pass mode now, because we do want to create that, you know, width on the low end that can be controlled a little bit later, you know, with some mid-side EQing. But the original does have like a lot of stereo on the low end. So something like this should be fine, you know. Now let's just compress the overall thing. Right, let's add a multi-band compressor here. Get those mids out there. And the lows as well. I want to make sure we got the tops kind of controlled, you know. Otherwise, when we open up the filter, it's going to be a mess. So let's just check that. See, it's fine like this. Since we're at it, we can add a little bit of drive here, and fat, and also increase the resonance. Alright, back to the effects. I think we're there, guys, alright? Now we might need a little bit of EQing and extra distortion just to get there, or at least as close as we can, okay? So let's go with it. So I'm gonna use isotope trash for it because I don't need much, you know. I'm just gonna go over the saturate section here, and I'm gonna select like delicate harmonics. You see, and probably just add a little bit on the drive. And here on the wave shaper. Awesome. So what we did here, just like we actually made it sound better, but the distortion is starting to add more harmonics than we actually want. So for that, we might need to get this covered with some EQ. We're gonna go with Pro Q, obviously, and we're gonna take care of those things, all right? So as you can see, there's like a lot going on here, and the original doesn't have that much. So we're gonna low pass these. These are the main harmonics we kind of need to focus, you know, like these E note here. Like this is the core of the bass line, you know. So let's just go with the less quantity because we want to let them bleed a bit. We want to hear them, but not like this, you know. All right, I think we're pretty much there. Just some final tweaks. We can go back to our patch and just kind of be a bit more gentle with this LFO, so we can just increase the smoothness here so we don't hear that pluckiness. You know what I mean? And also turn the portamento. different. I'm probably gonna just be less strict here. Maybe give these harmonics a bit more I would say a bit more room. So let's kind of make this one dynamic. We cannot overdo this, you know what I mean? So just go gentle here. Something like this should highlight those harmonics a bit better on the mix. So yeah, guys, this is it. Let's take a listen to our sound mixed in with the original, all right? So here it is. Yeah, guys, I think we're there. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.